All right, let's now shift our attention to what is happening in Canada, where in the capital city, Ottawa, the protests continued. On Friday, the demonstrators, in fact, burst out with the national anthem, "O Canada." There were also occasional scuffles that were reported between the police and the protesters. The police also reportedly arrested several protesters and towed away vehicles blocking the streets. The protesters have lined up heavy trucks outside of the Parliament in the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's office. Hundreds of police officers also lined up in front of the protesters near the Parliament.
It's time to hold the line for freedom. You've got tyranny coming down on top of us in Ottawa because the evil ones know that this is where they win or lose. Unfortunately, these police officers have been put in a very bad position. But their decision now as to which side of history they're on is to be made. Are they for liberty or are they for tyranny?
Meanwhile, the top Canadian ministers have said that the protesters must leave and should not be allowed to usurp the authority of the democratically elected government. The country's deputy prime minister has also called these protests as a foreign-funded threat to the people of Canada.
If your truck is being used in these protests, your bank account will be frozen and your insurance will be suspended. The consequences for taking part in these illegal blockades are real. When this crisis is over, all of us are going to need to work hard to heal our country. But today, our economy and our democracy are facing a serious and foreign-funded threat.
For anyone who continues to remain as part of the illegal blockade, we have a very simple and straightforward message. Leave. Leave now. Enforcement operations are being undertaken, and for your safety, the safety of Canadians, and the safety of those law enforcement officers who are on the ground discharging their responsibilities right now, the best thing that you can do is to leave.
Now, a number of trucks soon began to leave under pressure. Tow truck operators arrived under police escort and started removing the campers and other vehicles that were parked shoulder to shoulder near the Parliament House. Some trucks were also seen being driven away. The scuffles also broke out in front of a downtown hotel. The police have sealed off much of the downtown area to the outsiders.
Hold the line, boys. Hold the line.
I know how to pick up a car from a tow yard, so no worries. These guys are the biggest threat to everyone's safety around here, so getting away from them is the biggest thing.
And on Monday, Justin Trudeau invoked the emergency powers to give his government wider authority to stop the protests. The legislators were supposed to debate those temporary powers on Friday. However, the House of Commons suspended its session, citing people's activity. The hundreds of truckers, in fact, led the protesters, having been occupying the Canadian capital's centre for over 3 weeks now. They've been defiant against the order to disperse or to face potential arrest. The so-called Freedom Convoy trucks began with the truckers protesting against the mandatory COVID vaccine rules to cross over from the US border into Canada. The demands have now grown to include an immediate end to all COVID restrictions in the pandemic. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.